Hi, I'm Tony Lair. In this how-to, I'll be showing you the basics of resist dyeing using Eco Flo top coat finishes, acrylics, stains, and antiques on natural and pre-dyed leather. First, set up your workspace. Clear away your tooling surface, all tools and unnecessary supplies. Be sure you have good lighting. You will need quality number 4 and number 1 round fine point brushes, a container of clean water, dye palette, eyedroppers, paper towels, and a top coat finish to use as a resist. Most top finishes will act as resist when applied to natural or dyed leather. Some resist more than others depending on the amount of blocking agent, such as acrylic, in their formulas. I want to have the tool design lighter than the background, so I'm using Super Sheen on the design. Load your brush, touch the tip of the brush to a paper towel to remove excess finish, and then apply the finish to the design. Carefully brush the finish over just the design. Any finish that touches the background will also act as a resist in that area. After you have resisted the design, let it dry completely. Carefully add a second coat of finish for a stronger resist and to make sure all areas of the design have been covered. Now I'm going to let my project dry completely. Then apply a stain or antique with a slightly dampened sponge. I'm using Briar Brown Highlight Color Stain. Be sure you get the stain down into all the impressions. Allow the stain to sit briefly, then use a clean sponge to remove excess stain. When your project is dry, use a clean cloth to buff. Then apply a final top coat finish. And here's the finished piece. There are many other resisting techniques, including the use of acrylic Cova colors as a resist, two-tone resisting, and three-tone resisting. Acrylic Cova colors applied to a design will also resist stains and antiques. On designs like this eagle, it's only necessary to apply Cova color to the high spots. Stain or antique will fill in the rest, cleaning up and popping out the Cova colored design. Allow the Cova color to dry completely, then apply stain or antique. I'm applying gel antique liberally with a clean piece of cotton cloth. Let it dry for a minute, then remove excess antique with a clean piece of cloth. Buff to finish. And here's the finished piece. If you want a multi-tone look to your project, along with extra depth and interest, apply 2 or more finishes with different degrees of resist. On this project, I'm using Super Sheen first on some areas of the design. Super Sheen contains a lot of acrylic, which makes it a strong resist. I'm also applying a Super Sheen resist to the border. On other areas of the design, I'm using Satin Sheen. Satin Sheen contains less acrylic, which makes it a weaker resist. Allow your project to dry completely, then apply a stain or antique. I'm applying a coat of Briar Brown Highlight Color Stain. Allow the stain to sit briefly, then use a clean sponge to remove excess stain. Notice on the finished project how the use of 2 different resists add depth and character to the design. On this sample, a background color of dark cocoa brown leather dye was added as a 3rd tone. Then the highlight color stain was applied. Notice on the finished project how the background dyeing adds even more dimension to the design. And here are the 2 completed multi-tone samples for comparison. Be careful when applying resist. Any overflow will resist your stains and antiques. If overflow happens, immediately blot the area with clean water on a brush. Repeat several times until the resist is removed. To avoid the possibility of smearing background color while wiping on a stain, antique, or finish, Lock in the color first by applying a resist over the background dyed area only. Allow to dry completely, then apply a stain, antique, or finish. White Cova color will turn yellow when stain or antique is applied. To prevent this, brush a coat of finish on the white before applying the stain or antique. For more information about coloring using Eco Flo products, see our book, Coloring with Eco Flo, and our how-to videos.